Speaking of J.J. McCarthy, as we transition to the love side for pass catchers, we heard from McCarthy on learning from Wentz and how to get the ball to Justin Jefferson.
I would say the biggest thing about Carson's game that I really admired was his ability to put balls in voids. You know, have that touch where he's throwing 60% balls and letting Justin go into that void and, you know, catch it there. So just being able to tempo my arm down on certain routes and certain in-breakers and stuff like that is something I picked up from him big time.
Okay, one of the great mysteries the NFL season is where has J.J. McCarthy been and what will he look like going forward? And his value is very much tied to Justin Jefferson, who comes in as wide receiver 7 for Matthew this week. Where does the optimism come, Matthew?
He's Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Hashtag analysis. There you go. You're welcome, America. There you go. He's Justin Jefferson. Would he be on our wall if he wasn't Justin Jefferson? Exactly. That's all I'm saying. All right, look. Here's the argument for Justin Jefferson. How bad could J.J. McCarthy be?
Well, we're about to find out.
Could he be Nick Mullins? Bad? There you go. Look, there he is. He's right next to my ride or die, Amari and Hampton. Like, he's in his last 5 matchups against the Detroit Lions.
Not the Pistons.
Not the Pistons.
Definitely not the Pistons.
No, but he would crush against the Pistons, too.
Not the bad boy Pistons.
I'm not sure that JJ's a better quarterback than Katie Cunningham. At this point, but we'll see.
Fair. Cade Cunningham crushing for my team, by the way, right there, in our league of NBA assholes. Anyway, last 5 matchups against the Detroit Lions. Justin Jefferson, 25 fantasy points. They're allowing touchdowns. This is the Lions this year. Touchdowns at the 4th highest rate to opposing wide receivers. Again, the way you attack Detroit is that secondary, it's a little bit beat up as well. And so on the season, against a small sample size, but Justin Jefferson has a 31% target share. Now, of course, that was early in the season. Jordan Addison was suspended, so it's all skewed a little bit, and it's a small sample size, but whatever. He's Justin Jefferson. It's not like you're not starting him, but I like the matchup. Again, they're underdogs here. They're going to be throwing. If you're J.J. McCarthy and you're an inexperienced quarterback, what are you doing? You're looking for Justin. You know, you're not like, hey, let me try to force it into Jalen Naylor.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Right, of course. It's the same thing. It's Joe Flacco shows up like, I'm just going to throw out routes to Jamar Chase.
You know the job.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy, he went to Michigan. You know he's smart. He understands the assignment.
Yeah, we just always got to mention Joe Flacco. He just constantly comes up. Speaking of Joe Flacco.
You know who he reminds me of? He could, how about the Khaleesi from Game of Thrones?
The Khaleesi.
The Khaleesi.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's more of a Jamie Lannister type situation.
Jamie Lannister, I could see that as well. But
how have y'all not said, you said...
Ric Flair.
No, you brought up the Saved by the Bell girl.
Kelly Kapowski.
But didn't bring up Zach Morris, the GOAT.
That's a good one. You could be a
Morris,
little Zach Morris.
There he is, Jamie
Lannister.
Yeah.
To me, Lannister, not bad.
Yeah, I think it looks like if Jamie Lannister and Uncle Rico had a child and then he sprinkled some Nicki Minaj dust on them, that's basically exactly right. What is my right.
No.
Where did the mustache come from, though?
Yeah,
It was, the babies come out with mustaches sometimes. Yeah. Particularly when Uncle Rico was the father.
All
right. Uncle Rico.
Rome Odunze is going to be the daddy of the Cincinnati Bengals defense this week. Not much to say on this one, Matthew. The Bengals pass defense, as their run defense is not very good.
No, it is not.
This is
Hashtag
a prime opportunity for Caleb Williams to get right. And Rome Odunze, who had a really nice week last week, bounced back. I think that he will torch the Bengals.
I agree with you.
Okay, let's jump ahead to D.K Metcalf, who plays my Indianapolis Colts, who are, as we know, an all-world juggernaut, but the pass defense can be a little bit shaky.
Yeah, they allow the 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers. They allow the 4th most yards per game as well. And so D.K Metcalf, who had a little bit of a quiet game last week, but I feel like they're going to have to throw. The Colts' offense is so good that Detroit, the only way that Pittsburgh keeps up is they're going to have to throw against this Colts secondary. Their run defense is pretty good, but since week 2, Colts allow the 5th most touchdowns to opposing wide receivers. So if you're telling me there's a wide receiver on the Steelers that gets a touchdown, we feel pretty good that it's going to be D.K Metcalf as well. Colts 7th best against the run over the last 4 weeks. So again, I think the way you attack Indy is that secondary.
Indeed. Okay, Lawrence, we're anticipating the return, finally, of Brock Bowers, who's been largely an unused chubby leather daddy for me. I've been relying on the Tuck wagon. We'll see. Well, maybe, because I've got Tucker Kraft on my team. I think it's probably going to be better than Brock Bowers going forward, just because the injury concerns around Brock. But he plays the Jags.
And the quarterback concerns.
And a lot of quarterback
and the
concerns.
coaching concerns.
Hopefully this helps.
Okay. But in spite of all this, he's on the love list, Lawrence. So
yeah, definitely. By the way, Brock Bowers would kill for this hair right now. He's a very young man. He hurting. But he going to hurt the Jacksonville Jaguars defense because they've allowed a touchdown to tight ends in 3 of their last 4 games. The Jacksonville Jaguars' last 4 games, they've allowed an average of 71 receiving yards to tight ends. And these not like name brand tight ends. We're talking Kobe Parkinson, A.J. Barner, Jake Tonga. So besides the fact that he is Brock Bowers, the Jags give it up to tight ends. So I look for him to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit with his hair, Brock Bowers.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, this is only for our 12.
Like 22, 23.
All right, I figured it out.
You got to get this right here.
I just figured it out.
All right.
So Ted Lasso, right? You guys saw Ted Lasso?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so Rebecca, the female owner, long blonde hair. She, spoiler alert coming up for Ted Lasso, but Rebecca, throughout, I think it's season 2, has an affair with Sam Obusanya, who's on the team, right? He was a defender on the team.
Oh, no part.
If they had a baby, there you go.
Okay.
They had a baby. That's you.
There was already 2 people who had a baby and it came out me. What's up with all the baby making here? In fact, I want no more baby making personally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll tell you what the baby because
there's a lot of love being made between Jamie Lannister and Uncle Rico.
I'm just saying. That's the only way this comes together is through some some perverted
I don't know,
love
Matthew.
making.
It's 2025. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Okay, from one tight end to Brock Bowers.
I just know it's not Peyton Manning. I don't know. I'm still figuring out what it is.
Very Peyton Manning.
It's
I look just like him.
I don't know what you are, but you're not the sheriff. We go from one tight end struggling with his hair and Brock Bowers to one very much not, Tyler Warren. Those beautiful long locks, Matthew.
Connor Rogers could learn a few things from you about transitions.
He's on the love list against the Steelers.
Tyler Warren is absolutely on the love list against the Steelers. Two first names, always a crowd pleaser. Look, we just saw what your guy, Tucker Kraft, did to the Steelers last week. In fact, 4 different tight ends this year, including Tucker Kraft, have had their season high in receiving yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tucker Kraft was on the love list last week as a tight end against these Steelers. I'm going back to the well again. The tight end facing the Steelers this week is Tyler Warren. No team in the NFL allows more yards per game to opposing tight ends than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They also give it the second most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. You see it there on your screen. Tyler Warren, number 3 in my ranks, number 1 in your heart. Tyler Warren, big day coming and on the love list for week number 9.
Okay, let's jump to others receiving votes, headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr.,
I've heard of
who has had ups and downs this year, but has shown flashes, and I think eye test-wise has looked better than he did his rookie season, and now he gets as good a matchup as possible outside of Cincinnati, and that is the Dallas Cowboys.
No team has allowed more touchdowns to wide receivers than the Dallas Cowboys. They've also given up at least 17 fantasy points to a wide receiver in every game this year except for one. If you tell me a wide receiver gets 17 points against the Cowboys, it's going to be MHJ. How about Travis Hunter, who had season highs in target share and route participation in his last game? Raiders allow the highest catch rate on slot targets this year. Travis Hunter runs about 40% of his routes out of the slot. How about Wan'Dale Robinson, cheat code, 25% target share since Jackson Dart became the starter. Niners allow the 3rd most yards per game to the slot. And finally, Kyle Pitts, my guy Lawrence's Atlanta Falcons. Very quietly, he's been a top 12 tight end in fantasy points per game 3 of the last 4 weeks. Patriots quietly give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends as well. So good matchup. I think they're going to have to throw. We expect Michael Penix back this week for Atlanta as well. So Kyle Pitts makes the love list. He's a top 10 tight end for me this week.
Drake London's still like iffy.
Yeah. Too. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.